All right, we are back with another episode of the Ricky Henderson podcast, the greatest of all podcasts, the GOAP. And back for his second stint is the world's most famous hot dog vendor, Hal, and economist Hal Gordon. Hal, how you doing, man? You doing all right?
I'm doing great.
Dude, Hal, so you have the A's Twitter sphere on fire the past couple of weeks, dude. Great job. You created an 80-person A's Twitter sphere, like March Madness bracket. We're down to the final two now. We got Brian Sandlot 408, friend of the podcast, and Brody Brazil in the finals. Dude, can you just talk about like the whole genesis of that and where you got the inspiration and all that?
Well, I've seen a couple Twitter communities sort of do these silly March Madness knockout brackets before. I think somebody did it with all these sort of national baseball guys like a week or two ago, and I think somebody I think his name's Pablo. He went out and did one for A's, but it was mostly just like his 8 best friends and then like me. And,
I saw that account is suspended now. I don't know what that guy did. He's suspended right now from Twitter, but Detad.
Oh, he got suspended.
Yeah, Detad 54. Shout out to that guy. Yeah.
You don't put time into your Twitter brackets, they're gonna kick you off.
I saw you were in the final for that, right? You made it the final for the 20-person.
You and I were both kicked out by A's
Athletics Rants.
Athletics Rants. The Athletics Rants.
Yeah, we both got knocked out. Same guy.
So I was like, well, I think at the beginning I was like, well, I want to keep winning. So I got to create a bigger one.
The competitor in you was like, damn,
right.
You're like, oh, I made it to the final. I got to see if I could do another one.
Well, yeah. So of course, as soon as I published it, I'll just say, as soon as I published it, 10 people who obviously should have been included were like, hey, what's up? And I was like, okay, I gotta take myself out and put somebody else in.
Penalize yourself. You're like, okay.
Yeah. I think especially, I really started getting on Twitter, I think, right when the coronavirus happened and we were missing we missed, most of the 2020 season. And I've just really, I've really enjoyed the nonsense that goes on Twitter around the A's. So, and I thought there's some good accounts that people might, not see enough from or whatever. I asked a couple times, I was like, hey, send in nominations. Yeah. And nobody even knew what the hell I was talking about.
Oh, really? At first?
I think 2 people sent in nominations. So I had to
you were just like, all right, got a 3-person bracket. Let's go.
Pulled up a Google spreadsheet and I had to start ranking people. And I was like, oh, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, eventually you got a bunch of nominations eventually, right?
Yeah. We eventually got some nominations in, and we had about 80 people. Maybe next year if I do it again, I'm hoping to get 128.
Oh wow!
And, just really
put March Madness to shame.
Bottom of the barrel, bring them in, right? But yeah, I think that's fun because in the early rounds, it's just fans going against other fans or fans against big guys, and then as it gets closer, it's people everyone knows. But it was. Listen, a couple of people reached out when I first announced it, and they were like, "What are you doing? This is nonsense."
What do you mean?
They absolutely is nonsense. That's the point.
They're like, well, dude, what is it? Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. There's literally nothing happening. It's might as well, I
hope he doesn't mind me saying, but Brian was messaging me. He's like, I'm not worthy of this. Put him as a number 1 ranking. He's like, A, I'm not worthy of this. B, you have to put on all the other A's legends. I can't be number 1. And I was like, well, none of them.
Well, of course he's dude, he's a star of A's Twitter.
You're the star of A's Twitter. I'm not taking you out. And
now here he is in the final.
He's like, this just seems so silly. And I'm like, exactly. This is so silly. nonsense.
How did you do
Yeah.
the seating? Was it like by like say X person got like 10 votes, they would be like it was do you just kind of
Oh no,
did you
so
like itemize
so I was
everybody?
hoping that like a bunch of people would like send in nominations, right? And then that would itemize people. I sent in my own nominations. I swear to God, I stayed up late one
Selection
night.
committee.
That's right. I was thinking like I set up a Google form. I thought everyone was gonna like post in a bunch of stuff. I like wrote a short computer program, my data program to like turn that into rankings. I was like, I'm gonna get a bunch of people, and then like 4 other people sent stuff in. So I just had to. I think I tried to like put people in like 4 buckets, and then I just the first three buckets I like just tried to rank them 1 to 36 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then everyone else, or 1 to like 48 or whatever. And then everyone else I just like ordered them by by the number of followers they had.
Oh, okay.
And those were like the play-in guys, but some of the
Dude, you put a lot of effort and time into this thing, dude.
Yeah, I mean, anything I can do that isn't actually productive is what I spend my time
please. You're like, oh, let me do that.
Yeah, no. So we had some big upsets early on. What was it? So I ended up, not really ranking Kyla Vucinic.
Yeah, Kayla. Kayla. Yeah.
Kayla, and she like went on a tear. The first thing I did was I hadn't included. I set the list to like Brian like 2 hours before I released it, and Brian's like, he's like, not only does Jose Canseco not have a bye to the finals, you didn't even put him in there. And I was like, okay, fine. So I put him in there, and then Kayla ended up beating him in the first round.
I saw that. Yeah, that was like the first major upset. It was like the 14 seed. We're like, wow, Kayla just took down Jose Canseco, and then she took down Cole Irvin. I mean, she took out an ace player in the next round. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I was wondering, should we include players? And I was hoping, well, like my dream would be like one of the players' response. But like 2, I was also thinking
that happened.
I was thinking,
and that happened.
If we put a player in and somebody beats them, then that's even more funny.
Well, shout out to Paul. Yeah, that was.
Oh my God!
I think that was the signature moment of the tournament so far.
Exactly.
I think it was Paul taking out Chris Bassett. Yeah.
Yeah. So Chris Bassett was 2. Paul, who another friend of the pod.
209 Tacos, 209
right.
Tacos, part of the Last Dive Bar crew.
If you're one of the thousands watching this on YouTube, he's the one who created the How's My Pal logo.
I think our last episode has like 24 views right now. So yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, let me tell you haven't gotten the Hal bump yet. Okay?
Oh yeah, here we go, baby. Here we go.
Yeah. So like, he only has like 200 followers on Twitter. So like I kind of like threw him in there. And we'll see. He was like a 15 seed. And,
I love talking about this, dude. This is so funny.
It's so stupid.
A 15
and like, it's like you actually like watching it in real time because it takes a day to run.
Yeah.
And so immediately Chris Bassett takes, because I think he and Tony Kemp have the largest sort of Twitter presence.
I thought Bassett, he might make it to the final, honestly. I thought he
right. I had no idea. I didn't know how people were going to treat this. And so Bassett's like immediately like 70 to 30. Like that's a big lead.
Yeah. It's kind of like, that's it. Yeah.
And he doesn't retweet it, but he comments, "Goodbye, 209 Tacos."
Yeah, just like that.
It was like goodbye.
Yeah, it's like very
and I was like
he's gonna push you off the ledge.
This is great. I can't believe he responded. And
then it backfired, completely backfired.
So I was hanging out with my family, and like 2 hours later, I checked my phone, and all of a sudden, this poll has like twice as many votes as any other poll, and it's 50-50.
Yeah.
And apparently, Paul's like in a Discord channel with like he does like some type of like, I don't know if it's out of the park baseball or some type of
some video game. Yeah.
some type of like, it's like in a Discord community with all these like, video game players.
Oh, so that's how we got the push.
And all of the people on this Discord also have Twitter accounts for their fantasy like fake players.
Mm-hmm.
And so apparently he dropped the link. So
Ah.
I originally, as soon as this happened, I was like, oh no. And I like Googled, is it easy to buy bots for Twitter follow? And I was like, oh no. Like I got to like a website, it was like 10 cents a vote or like 2 cents a vote. And I was like, oh no.
Paul is secretly has like a
Yeah, so
little
Paul
elves
drops
workshop of fake Twitter
Yeah, and
accounts.
it was, and then like the last dive bar guys are like, putting Seabass's tweet on a T-shirt, and I could only imagine what Chris Bassett was thinking. Like, he's got like, whatever, like 40,000 Twitter followers.
Yeah.
He's he's locked out. He might be traded anyway. Is he really gonna spend his like Christmas Eve tweeting at his Twitter followers to help them beat a guy who has 200 followers?
And his name is 209 Tacos. It's just hilarious.
So he's like, I think he responded. He's like, why you gotta be hustling out here? What's going on?
No, he's like, wait, am I gonna have to actually like retweet this to my phone? But he did. I like how he did it. I like how he just kind of let it play out, because obviously if he retweeted, he could have won it. But he's like, I think he kind of wanted to see how it happened. He's like,
That's right.
oh, I didn't know 209 Tacos had followers like that.
So yeah, I mean, and that happened a bunch. Last night we had Brody against Dallas, and Brody
in the final four.
the final four, cutting down the nets.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Brody
Bust out the ladder, dude.
Brody started tweeting pictures of Dallas in a Giants jersey.
Oh, that's hilarious! I didn't see that.
Oh yeah. Oh, and the Sharks mascot was tweeting it out.
Oh really? Damn, dude, you're
trying to get people to vote for Brody.
That's hilarious, dude. Dude, that's sick. Like you.
I think Sharks Twitter definitely put him over the edge.
Well, I also think another epic moment was when Cass completely wiped Dave Cavill. It was like, what was it, like 15 to 85?
Yeah. So I don't know if I should have put Dave in there, but if this was a year ago, I think he could have done well.
Dude, I think he deserved. I mean, he's still a prominent Twitter personality.
I think, yeah, I think he's been, he's doing his job, and I think that if we get Howard Terminal, hopefully all of this will have been in service of something. So. But I put him in there because he's like got a lot of followers.
You should get a brick.
And
Hal created A's Twitter 21 bracket.
That's right. The A's Twitter bracket. We can in the future we'll have a giant bracket screen in the.
It'll just be up there for that whole like every December. It'll just be like on this big screen for everybody to see.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so I put him in there, and I thought, okay, this will probably be a free pass for somebody through, and like I said, I just listed them from 1 to 64, and then I had the Excel spreadsheet just populate the bracket, and I looked at it, and I was like, oh.
That's how it popped out. Yeah, I mean, so yeah,
popped out. I didn't change it.
Yeah, Cass is like super.
Cass
if people don't. Yeah, if people don't know Cass, she's like super outspoken drummer for the A's, and she's been very critical of Cavill and the A's ownership. So that was perfect. That was poetry. That was funny, dude. Yeah. But dude, you got over 3,000 votes for the last two semifinals, dude. That's pretty badass.
It was fun. I mean, like I said, hopefully this was like something fun for people to do while they're spending time with their families this week. And and I just put up the new one. I was gonna ask, did you put out the finals yet? Is that I put it up about 20 minutes ago. By the time you were listening to this, I'm sure it's over. But no, dude, I think I'm gonna put it out in real time. So all right, nice. I'll try to put it out like in the next couple hours. Find me at A's Hot Dog, or if you can follow Hal a shot dog. Yeah. And let's see. Wow. We'll see how we're doing. Okay. I'm going to do my vote right now on air. Okay. All right. I'm going to do
Sorry, Brody. I got to go with Brian. I'm going to go
Go
with
with
Brian on this
Brian.
one. Oh, he's up 60.2% to 39.8 as I say this right now.
Yeah, that's
There's
right.
still 23 hours. I mean, the poll's only been up for 31 minutes.
That's right.
But yeah, that was, but hey, everybody wants to do it not everybody. 44.6% people want to do the poll the same way. So way to go, dude. I think you're onto something here, dude.
Yeah, no, I think it's been fun. I'll reseed people next year. Look at how they did. I gotta say, the Ricky Henderson of blogs, you guys, the selection committee gave you an 8 seed.
Hey, I made it out of the first round. That's all I can ask for.
You cruised to the second round, but then you were real close. I loved. You were posting all those.
The We Believe. I tried to.
The We Believe in the Warriors against the Mavs when they were.
Yeah. Well, because it was like an 8-1 upset. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Oh, this is perfect. I was gonna ride the coattails of the Warriors, and I actually, it kind of worked. Like when I posted that initially, I was down like 42-58, but then I ended up losing like 49-51 or 42-58. So it helps a little bit, I think. I don't know.
No, I think so. And,
fun.
there's also, and hopefully people, were able to find some other stuff. There's other people.
Well, that's the thing. I got followers off. I think like it was cool. Like you got to. I think it was like it was cool. I was pretty much following almost every account that was on there already, but it was cool to. There was a few on there. I was like, oh, I don't know those. I didn't know that person, but yeah, that was fun, man. That was really funny and hilarious. Like obviously it didn't, but like I don't know, like the beat writers, like Shaden was tweeting like, "Oh, you guys need to help me out." Like I don't know, it was cool, dude. It was cool to see.
Yeah.
So are you going to be back next year? I know. Are you finishing up your grad program? What's the deal with your status personally?
Yeah. So with like the coronavirus, working at home, it's really sort of slowed a lot of the work that I've been doing. So, I might, my graduation, it's like unclear exactly when I'm going to graduate. I think it might be, could be by the end of the summer, could be by the end of 2022.
So that means you're going to be in the Bay Area next year, huh?
I probably will. Yeah, I might be, I might be doing, I've been recently thinking about trying to find like some economics jobs in industry and stuff. So I've been doing some interviews to do some like summer internships, but everything's going to be remote. So it might not be every game. We'll see. But I think it'll be hard to keep me away, especially whatever I can swing. I'll definitely swing it.
Yeah, even if it's part-time, dude, people would love it. People would love to see you there.
Yeah, and it's been it's just been tough. I think in general with baseball, with both coronavirus and the lockout and stuff. I was, for a while I was trying to, I've been doing the best I can to try and find a way to sort of keep doing this, full time as much as I can, and move on and find an econ job. But I don't know. I think in all,
your celebrity is growing too large now, Hal. I don't know. Your celebrity is growing too large.
Unless people start tipping $1,000 a game, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I can justify.
How feasible? Like,
the opportunity.
The Bay Area rents keep going up. Yeah.
With a PhD, with a PhD in econ, I don't know how long I can keep it up, but I think at least another year, and then that might be it. But if it is it, this has turned into something that has just been as much of a pleasure as it is for, I think, little kids who I give cards to, or people who enjoy me screaming and yelling in the stands. It's been twice as much of a pleasure for me. So this has been great. And
man, this could be Hal's farewell tour, people. So you guys,
it might be.
If you see him in 2022, make sure you get a hot dog and tip him well, especially the tip him well part.
Well, we'll see. Yeah.
So, but don't you? Is there anything you want to plug? Is there some? Doesn't Last Dive Bar have a line of clothes or something?
Yeah, of course. Last Dive Bar has the "How's My Pal" logo, which was Paul. I remember he he just like posted that it was like right before like it was like in February, right before coronavirus hit. And I was like, well, A, that's crazy because like growing up, my instant message handle on AOL was Hal Pal like 5 or something, right? I was like, you got it. And then Ace Fan by Design, he did the Give Me an A. And so right when coronavirus hit, I was selling those for, we ended up sending a bunch of money to all the vendors who were out of work. But since then, it's all on Last Dive Bar, and they do great work. They send all their money to charity and stuff.
Yeah, they send out like tens of thousands of dollars to
it's crazy.
Local charities, actually.
It's crazy. Like
it's pretty awesome. Yeah,
it's crazy. Like how many Last Dive Bar T-shirts I've been, especially by the end of.
I'm pretty broke. Otherwise, I'd get more.
Yeah. No, but like the stadium, it's like everyone is wearing that shirt, and that's fun. I feel I just couldn't happen to just it makes me cry a little tear for Fanatics every time I see somebody wearing that shirt instead of
Dude, actually there was some Last Dive Bar crime. Like even though 209 Tacos beat Bassett, he lost to Ace Fan by Design the next round.
That's right.
I was like, oh wow.
I think in the next round he decided to not release his hounds from his Discord channel. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's still I'm still pumped about. We still got some stuff this year. We'll see how many players we actually have left when they hit the field, but I'm excited for the rest of the Howard Terminal stuff because that's coming up.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I mean, so there's been some movement on there. They finalized the environmental impact report. And also, can you just give people background on exactly what you study and how it's maybe applicable, or just, I don't know, there is some crossover between what you're studying and like this.
So I'm a econ PhD student. Well, technically in the agricultural and resource economics department. The actual econ department at Berkeley is like, if I'm a nerd, these guys are like ultra nerds. Like I can't run with those guys. But but I do like a lot of environmental research and economics research. So this coming semester, I'm teaching. My advisor is actually on sabbatical, so I'll be teaching undergrads at Berkeley. I'm teaching her like electricity market course, which like goes into cap and trade and stuff. And
that's crazy. Research, enroll at Cal, you can learn from Hal.
Yeah, that's right, baby. Hal Cal. No, I have a funny story. Last time I was teaching, some students who were like go to my office hours all the time, like one of them clearly found my Twitter page. Mm-hmm. And in the middle, like the next time he saw me, he yells, "Give me an A!" And I was like, "Hey!" He's like, "No, I mean it. I would like an A for this course."
That's hilarious. That's perfect. No, that's perfect, dude.
Yeah,
like, no, seriously, give me an A. Like, no.
I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but
so is there some crossover? Like, so you've been pretty, I mean, obviously you're interested just in the stadium as an A's fan in general, but like there's some actual like academic crossover too, right?
Yeah, I think like there's, so if you followed me on Twitter, I think I've mentioned a few times, like there's like a lot that's been written in economics about how sort of the promise of stadiums is public money for stadiums is never really a good idea. And a lot of those papers are written on sort of, I think, how most stadiums were funded in the past. And if you want to think about that, it's sort of like the Raiders football stadium in Las Vegas, right? Where they like add a new tax and they say the stadium is going to generate tons of new economic activity.
$750 million.
Yeah, the tax will pay for it. And there's just sort of no proof that sort of ever works. But I was trying to be out there, and I was able to write something for SF Gate, saying like, well, the things that they actually want, the way that they're sort of funding it are not the old ways. First, like all the time these stadiums say we're going to bring a bunch of new development and economic activity just because we're there. And the Howard Terminal's great because it's not just a stadium, it's also, this big development that the A's are going to do themselves. So, when stadiums say, oh, we're going to transform the neighborhood, I think it's a lot of times like magical thinking. But in this case, it's not, because they're actually going to transform the neighborhood themselves. I'm the kind of person who, I think one of the biggest problems that the Bay Area has is not enough housing. And even if it's only partly affordable, the economist in me says, well, if you increase supply on the high end, that will take pressure off the low end. And there's been some studies that say that. So, I think even building 3,000 new units, which is what the A's want to do, even if I think maybe 15% of them are going to be affordable, I think that's still good for the Bay Area in general.
Because that's what they're proposing right now. It's like 450 out of the 3,000 units will be affordable.
Yeah, I think that's right. And then some of the money, when this gets closer and there's more talks about all the community benefits and stuff, he should have Bleacher Dave back on.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Bleacher Dave, he knows, he's been following this forever, and he knows everything about the community benefits. But some of the money will also go towards doing stuff like funding some affordable units offsite, and also
like preservation and renovation and stuff like that too, right? Like kind of just keeping.
Funding services like eviction defense and stuff, which is close to my heart, because my wife's an eviction defense attorney here in San Francisco. So
I'm sure right now that's a big issue, right? Especially right now with.
I think it's always going to be a big issue in the Bay with big rents, because you get evicted or you lose your house here. It's not like you just find a new place. You're either homeless or you have to leave the area, usually, with a lot of these people who have rent control or are public housing and stuff. So it does, it's only 450, I think, affordable units, but it will also, they'll use some of the money, the new tax revenue.
I heard it's like $50 million. I think it's like they're setting aside $50 million, which I don't, is that even that much money in this day and age? I mean, it's something, obviously it's a lot, but I mean, it's like $50 million, but how far can you stretch that? I don't know.
I mean, it's not everything. You can buy a heck of a lot of eviction defense attorneys. I know that for certain. You don't have to pay them that much. But
hire Hal's wife. No.
Hire Hal's wife and $50 million. I think what is true about it is it's $50 million that the city wouldn't have without the project. If this was a world where it was really easy, to build new things and new places, and the A's decided to go to Vegas, and then there was 3 other developers standing right behind them saying, yeah, let's turn Howard Terminal into a giant affordable housing village or something else, all these X, Y, or Z. Like, I think that there would be a good argument to say, why are we giving the A's, this deal? But it's so hard to build new projects in California because of CEQA, because of the power of, I think, like, there's just so many. CEQA is the law that forces people to do an environmental impact report whenever they build something. There's lots of I think there's a
lot of red tape. There's like a lot more bureaucratic red tape.
California.
Right? Yeah.
So I think if you want, some community benefits, and you want the Howard Terminal to get developed, and not be just a parking lot, I think it's sort of like the one chance you have. And the other thing I think is that they need quite a bit of money to, and I think this was always sort of when the A's originally put out their proposal, and then I remember you interviewed Dave. That was a really good interview right when you put that out. The A's had said, well, we need 350 million or 400 million or something in the surrounding neighborhood to, make it safe for
Yeah, the offsite
people
infrastructure. Yeah,
to
yeah.
people to get to the stadium, to make it desirable for people to buy these apartments and to put these, rent this office space and X, Y, and Z. They had said, well, we should use the property taxes of the area around it. And I think that gets close to that sort of magical thinking of that, the stadium is just going to make everybody's land much more valuable. And like, maybe
Yeah,
not.
that second proposed CFD they were proposing, like
That's
that
right.
larger
Yeah,
CFD. Whatever
right.
happened with I don't know. Whatever, is that even
What's
part
happening
of?
with that? Yeah.
Yeah,
If you, just to say, I think the city said no to that, and
yeah.
I think that was probably right if they had a second plan. And I think
Because
if you
Dave was
listen
like,
to
"Hey,
some
that's
of
a
the
big. I mean, that's like a massive potential revenue stream.
yes,
Like that's a
so
massive. That's like that could be like the actual reason they were doing this.
so I
Like
so I
yeah,
think if you listen to some of the best sort of people who I think the best voices who are against or very skeptical of the program, I know Zenny Abraham will interview. He's like done a few interviews with the
Mike Jacobs or something like
with Mike Jacobs, the
yeah,
general
PMSA.
counsel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the general counsel of the longshoremen. Um, and I, those interviews are good. I also find them that they both know like a lot about the minutia of like all the bureaucracy.
Zenny,
So
yeah,
like,
Zenny's next level. Yeah,
I just
Zenny's,
like I kind of like I have to sort of be like I'm not really sure what they're talking about, but I think what they'll say is like, where's this money coming from? Because the city has just said we'll deal with it, don't worry about it. And so I think that they think that the city is going to eventually like
well, they
ask
tapped into
this.
some federal. Isn't there some massive infrastructure spending stimulation bill that Biden is passing that
So
Oakland's
yeah,
tapping
that
into or
passed.
something or?
That passed. I'll say this. This is pretty far beyond what I think a lot of people, or especially I know, but what I've heard, what I've heard is that they, and it seems like that they are trying to get a lot of like federal or state grants for that
Yeah.
money. And I think the reason why they haven't announced what they're doing there is like, is they're like sort of getting those dollars in. They probably don't have it all yet, but I think their
didn't
goal
Libby
will be
Schaff,
there.
didn't she come out and say like, yo, I think we even got more than the 450 million the A's are seeking
Yeah,
or something
so
like
that's
that,
what they've said.
or 350
Exactly.
million?
So
Yeah, yeah.
they said we have a plan. Like
Yeah.
we have a plan and we have it, and they haven't said what they have yet. But I mean, I think then if you're an opponent, let's say that they have all of that money in federal and state grants, and they don't have to do any any bonding. You could be an opponent of this. You could be an opponent of this and just be like, well, that's great, but why are the federal and state governments spending all this money on getting people to a ballpark? And at that point, it's like,
Yeah, good point.
I don't know. I think
That's a good point, actually.
like
There's probably maybe other or uses we could do for this.
yeah, that's
man.
true. But like I think
Yeah.
when I think a lot of infrastructure money ends up going to building highways and expanding interstates and
Hey,
stuff.
880 could use it. Yeah, 880.
If you're gonna spend that money instead on like getting people building bike lanes and getting people to use buses and walking, I think that's great. So
Yeah.
I'm not mad about it. I'm sure that the Teamsters will be mad about it, but and I have no idea. They say that this is going to be really bad for their business, and I have no idea if it is. That oops,
Yeah.
but
But I mean, it's I mean, this thing is like progressing though. Like, there's something. I know people are saying, oh, nothing's happening, but like, dude, this is progressing. Like on January 19th, they're gonna the City of Oakland Planning Commission. Do you have more insight exactly what the City of Oakland Planning Commission is and what their role is in the city?
Yeah, so there's better people to talk to about this, but my understanding is that it is, sort of another one of the sort of the red tape hurdles that you have to jump through. I think that they are.
It's like a 6-person
They
council or
work for,
something
yeah,
like that,
like
right?
they're part of
Yeah.
like city government, but they're not the city council. And I think that, they have to like say that, I think this is more of a plan of saying like, yes, this fits in
Like it's
like
within the best interests or
architecturally,
whatever. Oh, I see. Okay.
like the city's plan of development. And so, yeah, so that'll be a public, meeting on Zoom.
January 19th at 3:00. Yep.
Yeah. So, if you're on January 9th, I'm sure I'll tweet about it. If you're at work and you want to, put it on in the background, I'm sure there'll be a time that you
Could be like a 14-hour session again.
yeah, but like, I'll try and listen to it, and I'll tweet again like, hey, it's now time to raise your hand, because there'll be a lot of people there from the East Oakland Stadium Alliance,
Yeah.
based in West Oakland, and I think it's nice to just chime in, and if you're listening to this podcast and you want to know what you can do, I think just writing down, it's just something for a minute, that says, hey, I'm a fan of the A's, I can't wait to spend time at this park and walk to the stadium and see everything transformed. I think that'll be good. And then I think the next major thing will be sometime in February.
That's what I'm surprised the city of they put that on their website. I was surprised they put that on their website, dude.
What is it? Did they?
Yeah, no. They just basically, when they released the final thing, they said, so what's next is the City of Oakland Planning Commission, and then they said they even wrote it in the city council. Likely will look at it February 22. I was like, oh shit!
That's right, yeah.
Like, so they're putting
22,
pressure on themselves. Almost,
the city council would like pass the EIR. That'll be another
certification.
Big certification fight. Again, what they're doing there is the EIR basically says CEQA, which was like passed in the 70s or whatever, says like, you can't build anything new without, assessing how it affects the environment, which sounds good. But environment is now sort of known to be like how it affects anyone who lives 10 blocks down from you. And also, to me, as an environmental economist, the things that I think I care most about are like local air pollution and climate change stuff. And so if you're to tell me like, oh, we're going to do something that might impact Schnitzer Steel or the port, which has all these giant boats idling, gurgling diesel and O2 into the air, whenever you see like boats and those big container ships just sitting there in the bay, like they're polluting a lot. Now, they've done some stuff. I think they electrify, like they plug when they in dock, they like plug into the electric grid, so they're not committing so much local air pollution, but it's a lot of local air pollution. And then if you're to say like, should we build 3,000 housing units within a mile of BART? How many of those people are going to, if they couldn't buy, if they can't buy, even these rich people, if they can't buy, in a condo in Oakland, they might end up buying, a house in Dublin or something, and then they'll be driving to work every day rather than, taking the BART into the city every day or something, so to me, it's like, oh, this is great for the environment, but that's not what the EIR actually does. But now that I'll stop ranting about that, but sorry.
No, dude, it's a podcast. We're here to rant, baby.
That's right. That's right. February 22nd, the city council will vote on certifying the EIR. And then I think this is my understanding. Again, other people probably might say I'm wrong, and I probably would be wrong if they do. And then I think that everyone and their mother has 270 days to sue the city over the EIR. I believe there's a special state carve out for this project, which says all the courts have to be done 270 days after that. So I don't know if that means that they won't, that the city won't. So I think that the city council basically has to pass two things, right? They have to approve the EIR, and then we have to go back and remember that meeting in June when Cavill had his memorandum of understanding or whatever it was. I forget what the term was. Term sheet. His term sheet that they passed. Then they have to like finalize a term sheet, and that
a development agreement or something like that.
That's right. Yeah, the development agreement.
Yeah.
The things to look out for there, I think, are by then the city probably will have to have said how they're going to pay for all the off-site stuff, and they'll have to finalize, what percent of like housing is going to be affordable, who's going to pay for that. So I think right now, the on-site affordable housing, like the A's are actually going to be sort of compensated for some of that through the on-site tax vehicle. And then there's also this other tax, which is a transfer tax, a pretty substantial, I think, transfer tax, which I think is aimed to get $40 million or something. But that just says that whenever anyone, after the first sale, whenever anyone sells a condo on Howard Terminal, they have to pay the city a percent of the
buyer and the seller, or just the seller, or do you know?
Well, it's interesting that you say that. I think it's probably the buyer, but in economics, we have this thing called tax incidence, and that says that no matter who physically has to pay the tax, who has to send the check in, that doesn't matter. The buyer and seller will share the tax based on something called their elasticities, each of theirs elasticities, which is sort of like the slope of their demand and supply curves. Basically, if you have a very inelastic demand for something, so that would be like, oh, prices don't really matter to me. So like if you smoke cigarettes and you're addicted to cigarettes, you really want to smoke cigarettes. If there's a cigarette tax, even if
it's like $20 a pack, you're still going to buy
right,
it.
Yeah, even if the gas station is the one who physically has to pay the tax, if we say, oh, it's actually on the gas station knows that the smokers are addicted. So they'll pay the tax, but they'll also jack up the price really high. So it'll end up being with the customer as well. I wonder because if you're searching for a condo and there's only one condo, the condos at Howard Terminal have to pay this extra tax, and you could buy a condo, anywhere else in the city without the tax. I think that it will mean that whoever's the sellers are going to be the ones who end up paying the tax. And why I'm going into this is my theory here is that even though the tax only applies to the second sales, I think that the A's, if they're smart, or if they talk to an economist, someone would tell them, well, even the first buyers are going to realize that they're going to eventually have to pay this tax down the road. So they might not pay as much for these condos from you to begin with. So, if the A's were to get their way, I'm sure that they probably are not excited about that condo tax, transfer tax. But I also figure I think it'll be hard for the A's to try and convince Major League Baseball that they have to move to Las Vegas just because they don't want to pay this one, that they might have to pay part of this one condo
0.075% transfer fee or whatever.
But I think those are the reason why I bring it up is I think that there's a chance that could be an issue, in negotiations. But I also, like I said, I think this is kind of small potatoes. So I think that as long as
like the major framework is, my understanding is like the major framework is in place. Like they're still negotiating the development agreement as we speak.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on a trajectory. Like I think Oakland has made an effort. They've got the signal from the A's. Like they need to make, they've got Alameda County involved. Like if this doesn't go through, I think it's because the A's ultimately don't want it to go through, and they can.
Yeah, I think there's also a chance that
I mean, it's negotiation.
city councils,
yeah.
either the city council or the Alameda Board of Supervisors gets cold feet. If too many people show up at these things and say we wanted 30%, affordable housing.
It's only 15.
And it's only 15. Yeah, we had in San Francisco last month. There was like a 500 unit building that they were going to build on top of the parking lot at Nordstrom's that had like 20% affordable housing, and the Board of Supervisors in San Francisco said, nah, not enough affordable housing, and so there's just no plan. It's still going to be a parking lot. So never say never. But yeah, I think if you were to ask me to give a percent, I would say it's over 80%. Somewhere in the 80 to 85%.
What being done, this project?
Yeah, that they'll end up getting the project done. I think so.
Oh wow, that's more optimistic than I'm still because I don't know. Like I still think there's something nefarious going on with the A's. Like if they spot they might have a more lucrative deal in Vegas, they take it. But I just think right now they're so deep.
Yeah, no, I think that's right.
I just think they're so deep into this. It's like this is their best option. They should just do it.
If they were at the same
like 70-ish
level of progression as they are with Vegas, as they were with Oakland, I would be like 0%.
Yeah, I mean it's just they're so far behind. Yeah, they're so they are. I think they're beyond the 50%. With this certification, like they've done more work than there needs to be done, kind of a thing. Like they're beyond that threshold.
Yeah, and I think that there's only one person whose opinion really matters. Which is John Fisher. But,
John Fisher.
He's from the Bay Area, and you also got to probably everyone in that office, that's working for them and him, lives here. I don't think any of them want to move to Las Vegas. I think you're right. I think that maybe the biggest sort of unknown is if John Fisher just decides I just want to move to Vegas, but then they'll have to convince Major League Baseball that, I don't think Major League Baseball will let them move if Oakland has I guess there's.
Well, I heard some people think that Major League Baseball is actually using the A's as a research tool. Like, oh, yeah, turn up all these stones, see if it's legit. And then they'll just use that insight. Even if the A's don't move there, they'll just use all that knowledge and apply it to a future MLB franchise. Just
I think it's right.
Oh, go do our homework for us, dude. Great.
The same deal won't apply back to Oakland, right? Like if the A's leave, there's not going to be an expansion.
Yeah, that's
team.
it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But if the A's don't go to Vegas, there still could be an expansion team there.
Yeah.
So I'm optimistic. I think what's been truly a shame is the fact that the fan base gets beat up again.
Yeah, just gets shafted.
Yeah. No, I wish it was like Europe where there's no the communities, even if they don't own the teams, teams don't move, because if Vegas wanted to be in Major League Baseball, the Aviators would just spend a bunch of money and get promoted, and if the A's didn't want to spend any money, they sent to AAA. But people don't move there,
Yeah.
But it means a lot less profits for owners, so they'll never do that.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Just the average person here just makes more money.
I'm very optimistic about the stadium. So
Cavill finally tweeted about it for the first time in forever. He was like, hey, we got our draft now, all we need is a binding vote now. So that's the A's next, they're always moving the goalpost. That's their next goalpost now is the final bind. That's their next goal. So I think that could happen. I don't know. Yeah, that whole 270-day thing, I got to look into that. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think by this point next year, I think we will have a pretty concrete. I think we'll know. But
I think it's on December 31st, 2022.
Yeah,
we will either be talking about the meeting, the city council meeting next month, or that everything will have passed, or the A's will be gone.
Yeah.
So
we should know. It's 2022. Yeah, we should know.
We will find out this year.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got, dude. But yeah, thank you so much. And thanks for doing that Twitter poll again. That was really fun, dude.
Yeah, everyone
That
go
was
vote.
great.
Alex, it's just tons of fun to be on here and talk to you. I
Yeah,
hope you
man.
keep doing. I'm
Yeah.
always excited when one of these podcasts pop in.
Absolutely, man. I'm gonna try to keep doing it. I'm working a lot for my other new job, but
Yeah,
when
you're
I
on
got
the.
time, yeah.
This is you're listening to the main voice of which website?
95.7 the game. No, I've
That's
never
right,
no.
95.7. Okay.
95.7 the game. Yeah.
Yeah, anything
Uh,
online, that's your boy Alex.
oh yeah. Uh, but yeah, dude. So I don't know. We'll see. And then I might be going to get back in the ballpark again this year. So who knows, dude? We'll see. But
That's right. See
so
see
maybe
see
I'll
all
be
the
seeing you. Yeah, maybe I'll be seeing you at the ballpark, man.
see all the new acquisitions we get from
Woo!
our impending fire sale.
Woo! Oh yeah. Can't wait. All right, man. Well, thank you so much, Hal. Make sure to go follow him at A's Hot Dog or a Shot Dog, depending on how your brain reads it on Twitter. Yeah, awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, Hal.
Thanks a lot.